Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Entrepreneurs Making a Difference, where every episode we try to bring some entrepreneurs that are doing some great things in this world and giving back and just doing some fun things. So today we are happy to have Teriann Matheson with us, and her bio says that she's an extremely successful business coach who mentors new business owners, showing them how to begin their business with certainty, knowledge, and powerful strategies to triumph from day one. And she's an Amazon #1 best-selling co-author with Bill Walsh and Adam Markell. She's managed, owned, and sold 10 businesses in 2 countries over 14 years, increasing sales and profits in every one. Teriann has declared war on business failure and lives what she teaches: how to build a great business, how it allows you the personal life of your dreams, and the financial freedom we all desire. So welcome, Teriann.
Hi, Mike. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. So I guess we'll start off. So many businesses fail. The vast majority of businesses fail. What are your thoughts on that? And you said you're declaring war on this. So what are your thoughts? What have you seen?
Well, I've been in business now for myself for over 10 years. I've done it in 2 countries, Australia. As you probably hear, I'm Australian. Currently living in Canada. And in being in business myself, plus also as part of my business life, I train new business owners coming in. I'm from a franchise background, and in the franchise I was in, if you wanted to have one of those franchises, you would come to us and we would train you. And what I saw was so many people have the excitement to be a business owner. They're so excited they're going to finally work for themselves, but then not really knowing what it's going to be like to have their own business, not really being aware of what it takes to run a successful business. And so I see lots of people with expectations and realities that don't meet. And, that's one of the reasons people fail, is because they're not prepared when they get into business. In the businesses that we've had amazing businesses that have given us a great lifestyle, the cash, the freedom. But my husband and I both each had a really bad business experience. Mine was to the point it nearly went bankrupt in the first 12 months. And I know the stress involved, and I know the financial hardship involved, and how it just takes away all your time. So for me, when I see that statistic that the majority of the businesses fail, over 50% in the first 5 years, I know what that feels like. And for me, it's a core reaction. I need to do something about it. I want people to go into business and have the great business experience that I had, not the terrible experience that I had. So my thoughts are that if you're going to go into business, I want you to go in to be educated, understand what it takes to be successful, have the right people and the right tools to be successful, and go in there and absolutely rock it. Don't be one of these ones that fail. You don't need to be in that failing percentage if you go in the right way.
Yeah, well, I think it's helpful also that you've been on both sides of the equation. You've had successful businesses, but you've also had businesses that have failed. And so you can obviously look back and say, okay, well, this is what I could have done better. And obviously you can see a lot of the blind spots that some of your clients probably don't know, especially if it's their first business.
Oh, absolutely. And I know my failing business was actually my second business. So you'd think that I would know from my first one what I was doing, but because my first one was such a success, I had an ego the size of the Empire State Building. I'm like, this business stuff's easy. I can do this, no problem. And so I looked at a business that was not performing. The numbers told me it wasn't performing, but because my ego was so high, I'm like, I can fix that, not a problem. And it absolutely kicked my butt within 12 months. As I said, all the money that I'd made out of my first business, I was about to lose. So
yeah, sometimes you need that. You need that little wake-up call, right?
That's the yin and the yang. I definitely had that, that's for sure.
Exactly. So what was your background before you got into your first business? What were you doing prior to that?
I was a travel agent. I grew up in a really small Australian town, 200 people, and at the age of 16, I was actually an exchange student to a Lake Tahoe town, Truckee, in Northern California.
Okay.
I was there for 12 months, and it really ignited a need to travel, a real passion to travel. So when I finished school, I went to travel college, knowing that they got great discounts, that I was going to be able to travel the world that way. But I don't know if any of your viewers or yourself are familiar with the travel industry. They don't pay very well. So I was working in a bakery to supplement my income at the time. So that's how I got introduced into business. But basically, my background before that was being in a travel agency. travel agent.
Okay, so that's quite a departure. And so what made you decide to begin Success Business Solutions? What made you decide to take that leap?
Um, it as I said, it's a core thing for me. Because we train business owners, and that was part of our business life, and I've also trained master franchisees when people actually buy the franchise for a country and then take it back to that country to set up their own franchises. And even the people at that level, they still sometimes just don't have an idea and an understanding of what it takes to be in business and have it successful and have it grow. So when it came time for us to decide what we'll do with our last business, we sold our last business in March. You know, I just said to my husband, it's just something we've really got to do. We've got to, that 50% failure rate, we've got to do something about that. We cannot allow that, especially with the way the economy is. People are being laid off, and so they're looking to franchises and their own business as a way to move forward, the next thing for them, but they're unprepared. And it just, as I said, I just feel compelled to make sure that if they do go down that route, that they're just equipped and they're ready. I just have to do it. I can't be doing anything else at the moment.
Yeah, there you go. So, so what are some of the biggest mistakes you see business owners, especially people that are starting up their first business? What are some of the biggest mistakes you see them making?
To me, I see some like 3 core sort of areas. They don't consider their work-life balance. They get so excited that they don't consider to look and see what business they're looking at, whether that's actually going to fit their lifestyle. Because a business, even in the start and the setup phase, can almost take you away from your life because you're spending so much time and energy trying to get it set up. So, you know, I look at businesses and how businesses have changed. Like, if you buy a McDonald's drive-thrus are open 24 hours now. What happens if you can't get the staff? Who's going to be working the 24-hour drive-thru? Is that then going to fit in with your life if you have kids? There's all these things, you know, that a business might do to your lifestyle if you don't consider it beforehand. You don't want to get 6 months down the road and go, oh my goodness, I've made a mistake. It's totally affecting my life, my marriage, my kids, and I really shouldn't have gone down that path. That's the first. Second is they do it without the right team and they do it without the right tools. You can't go into business by yourself. There's expertise that you need that you don't have, whether it's in legal, whether it's in tax, whether it's staff. So you need a team around you, like an accountant, a lawyer, a good banker. So many people will just sort of set up and start without having the right people in place and then try and scramble and find it. And as for tools, they don't understand the numbers. Like the second business that I had, the numbers were right in front of me that it was bad. I didn't look at them. I knew how to read them. That's why I didn't look at them. But other people get in and they don't even know. They don't understand how to read a business sheet. So they need the tools that tell them what the business is doing, how to manage cash flow, and then the right people to be able to interpret that information for them. And then the last one, number 3, is they go in without a plan. They don't know whether they're going to sell the business. They don't know whether they're going to run it remotely, whether they want to have 3 or 4 different businesses. They just sort of get in and go, oh, I'm a business owner, and don't think about it. And they can sort of just flounder and just cruise along and not really know whether they're achieving their goals or not. So, you know, for me, that's key. You need to have a plan because then you can communicate that with your team members, with your staff, with your family, and say, this is exactly where I'm going and I'm clear.
Right, right. So what are some of the solutions to those 3 major hurdles that you see? What are some of the best solutions? We don't want you to reveal all your trade secrets, but just a couple of quick pointers for somebody who might be just starting out right now that's tuning in.
Okay. For me, because I don't know if it's because I'm a mum, I think work-life balance is something that's so very, very important. You don't want to take something on that might put your family in jeopardy or even your lifestyle. Even if you're single, you still like going out and seeing your friends. So you really need to consider that beforehand. Is it going to fit? Can I do this 2 years, 5 years down the track? Because sometimes that's how long you're in business for. So that's one of the main things. Do that first. And the second thing is then get help. Make sure you have the right people who are going to be able to give you the expertise. Because, you know, Robert Kiyosaki has a great quote, if you're the smartest person in your team, you're in trouble. You need people who have got the expertise to help you.
That's so true, so true. Great. And so tell me, you mentioned in your bio something about the business prosperity cycle. What does that mean?
Oh, that's one thing I love. The thing for me, a successful business can help people go into business for a certain lifestyle and to give themselves, financial freedom and to help their family, which is, a great core thing. But now there's a real movement, and it's something that I love. It's not quite enough just to set up yourself. People want to give back. They feel great about giving back. And for me, if you go into business being aware of the business prosperity cycle, you can see what good your business can do. So once you've sort of got it set up so that you're looking after yourself and you're getting the financial freedom and taking care of your family, you can employ people. I mean, the way that the economy is at the moment, people need jobs. So if you have a thriving business, you can employ people. You have the funds to further train them. So you're upskilling them, you're keeping them engaged. You can do that within your business. And then it's outside your business. What can you do? You can give donations. You can provide sponsorships. You can give your time or product. There's so many great things that a successful business could do because they have the funds, they have the prosperity. And so I really want people when they're going to business to consider how their business can spread their prosperity and really help out and make a difference.
Very true. And speaking of making a difference, which is what our show is called, what sort of things do you personally, what lights you up? What kind of things do you want to make a difference on this planet with? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
We have two. Business is our core. I love business. I wouldn't consider doing anything else. So if I can help people be successful in business, then I feel I'm giving back. Our Success Business Solutions supports Kiva, which gives small business loans throughout the world, so people can then set up their own business and improve their own lifestyle. And the thing that I love about Kiva is the money's never actually really spent. Once the loan's paid back, you can re-lend it, and it just keeps generating forward. And it's for women, it's for men, it's for families. It's in lots of different developing countries. It's in the US. It's all over the place. And that way, with our business, we can help people that can come to us, but we can also help people in so many other different countries get a head start and be able to create a business. Because the thing that I love about business is you can create income for yourself. Instead of giving a handout, these loans allow people to build something for themselves of which they can be proud, and it can be ongoing, whereas a handout's a one-time thing. So
right.
Yeah, so for me, I think that's really key.
Yeah, it's actually an amazing project, and I've heard that their repayment rates are a lot better than what most of the banks are getting. So they're clearly doing something right.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've got 6 loans out, and we're getting payments on them all, and we've had no defaults, and I think it's great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think you said you had another one as well, another cause.
Just within the business ourselves, Success Business Solutions, we give scholarships to people who need when I'm talking about the right team, needing the help. We coach people, and obviously there's a charge for our coaching program, but we also give scholarships out to people who are in a position where they might not be able to afford a coaching program or a business coach, but really, really need the help. And it's a way that we can give back through our experience in getting that person set up to be successful within their business too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what would be the application process if somebody was interested in that sort of thing? How does that work? Or do you pick them?
On our website, we have successbusinesssolutions.com. We have a contact form where they're welcome to put down, it's a strategy session where they apply for that, and then they put on there, I'd like to apply for your scholarship program. And you start, like yourself, we're busy. We have generally, we probably take about 1 a month. So, then we're helping 12 people a year to get set up into their business. And so, yeah, if they just put it on the application form, they're applying for a scholarship, then we can call them back and we'll set up a session with them and see if they fit.
I love that. I think that's great, and there's so many people that could really benefit from that because, as we know, so many people get into business thinking it's going to be easy, and they find out that something that used to be their passion becomes their nightmare, and they end up going back into the work world and being an employee again because they fail. Yeah. So that's great service that you offer.
Thank you.
So let me. I was just going to ask you, did you have any books that influenced you to become, when you're, I find most entrepreneurs, they either read a book or they go to a seminar, they run across somebody that really inspires them to become an entrepreneur and it just totally changes their life. And I was wondering if you had anybody like that influenced your life.
For a book, yeah, I do. A key book for me was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh,
The
fantastic
timing,
choice.
the timing for that, when that was handed to me, was really ironic. It was when I went into my business for the first time. I went in by myself. I wasn't married at the time. And I grew up in a blue class background. Both my parents worked, but there was jobs, and it was work until you're 65. Whereas Rich Dad Poor Dad being handed to me when I had my business, it made me understand that I could take some of the funds from my business and start moving it from earned income into passive income, and what I could potentially do with my successful business to set myself up in the future so I didn't have to work until I was 65. That for me was just an absolute mind shift.
Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki has definitely had a big influence on an impact on myself and as well as so many other people. And it is a big mindset shift, and passive income is so important. So, who are your typical clients? What sort of businesses have you helped? Is it a really wide variety, or is it certain select industries?
It tends to be select industry. The people that we've trained have come from. We've had a roofer, we've had a bank manager, we've had, who else have we had? We've had people that have been in the internet industry, lots of people. Just trying to think of other people that we've had. One was a caterer. Just a really diverse background of people who are working for themselves, but just working for other people, getting to the point in their life where they really wanted to do something for themselves. So they tend to be a little older, in their 30s. We don't really.
That's older. I'm in serious trouble, but.
Yeah. Me too. Don't worry, me too. Yeah. But I mean, we don't get people generally in their 20s. It tends to be people who have tried a couple of things and decided now's the time for them to be in the business for themselves. They're the type of people, and they also understand that maybe because they are a little older, that they're prepared to shorten their learning curve by paying for some expertise, whereas you get a lot of young people who are like, oh, hope that's not too loud, who are like, no, I've got plenty of time to work this out on my own. They just tend to be a little bit older.
Yeah, those are often the most expensive ways to learn, is the trial and error thing. That's usually a very expensive learning lesson, and coaching and having a mentor is a much better way, I think.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, to the point now where I understand by having a mentor and being able to leverage off their experience, you do shorten your learning curve, and you get your results so much faster because they're like, oh my goodness, do not do that because I did that. That was the result. Do this. You can avoid so many of the mistakes that you would have made on your own.
Exactly. That's kind of one of my biggest regrets. If I could go back, as you probably know, I'm a real estate investor, and if I could, and I've been doing it for a long time, but if I could go back in time and change one thing, I would have got mentors much earlier on. And like I said, some of the lessons that I got were much more expensive than the courses that I could have potentially taken. So I'm sure you probably feel the same way.
Oh, I completely feel the same way. I mean, my second business just highlights everything for me. I mean, I was going to lose all the money I made in my first one, plus what I paid for my second one, because of not my inexperience, but just my ego at the time. So had I had a mentor, someone who said, okay, hang on a second, you need to just calm down a little bit, you're not the be-all and end-all, let's have a look at these figures, and someone who could take the emotion out, I mean, goodness knows where I would have been. I wouldn't have bought the business in the first place. I mean, exactly. It didn't fail. I turned it around, but it took me 2.5 years. But, I wouldn't have done it. But I didn't have anyone there at that stage to turn around and say, you're not making a wise decision.
Exactly. So if somebody's listening to this right now and they're in the corporate world, they're maybe sitting in their cubicle and they've got this dream to be an entrepreneur, and I personally believe that not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur, but let's say it was somebody who was, and they're afraid to take that leap. They're not ready to cut the umbilical cord from the corporation that they're at. What would be your words of advice to help them get from where they're at to into a business?
Okay, so a couple of things. Really think about what type of business you want to go into to make sure that you have some balance within your life. When you go into business, if you decide to go ahead, understand that it's a team sport. You need the support around you, so make sure you have the expertise. And if you don't know where to find them, ask some people in business, for some tips. and get help. Make sure you have a mentor, someone who can give you the advice and, as we talked about earlier, save you from all those expensive mistakes, so that you are successful earlier and faster and quicker, because that's what you're going into business for. You want the success and the lifestyle, so set yourself up to achieve that.
Yeah, and the sooner the better, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Why struggle and toil away for years and years and years and trying to figure it out?
It's, you know what, there's no badge of honor for being a struggling business owner. You want to go in and say, I'm the smart one. I got all the help I needed, and look where I am, and I did it in this really quick time frame, so I'm loving life. That's exactly where you want to be.
Exactly. And I know you mentioned your husband a couple of times. Is he involved in this company as well, or?
Yeah, he is. So he himself has also had businesses on his own, and then we've owned businesses together. So he's very good at the techie side. We do a lot of online product stuff too. That's his forte. But yeah, he's got the experience on his own. So, you know, for people, some people feel better speaking with a male, some feel better speaking with a female. But I mean, we've still both got the experience separately and together to help out people, anyone who's getting into business.
Well, it's a good combination too, because you do need somebody to handle all the tech side of things as well, as I certainly do. I'd be in big trouble if I had to figure out how to work all this stuff. So I can relate.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a little bit of a role reversal, you and me, but being the boy and the girl, but still, yeah, you definitely need to have, as we talked about earlier, your yin to your yang.
That's right. Exactly. So we're going to wrap this up here, but well, first of all, one more question. Do you work, I know you live in Vancouver, do you work with people locally, or do you work with people nationally or internationally? Who can you help?
We can help anyone. Being the technical age, I mean, we can do everything like Google Hangouts, Skype, we do phone calls, we've got online products. If people want to do it face-to-face, then yes, we are located in Vancouver. That's fine. We can do that too. But basically, it's anyone who's got a business. Businesses worldwide. So, you know, our mission is to help anyone worldwide. Okay,
great. And how do people get a hold of you?
If they go to our website, successbusinesssolutions.com, so successbusinesssolutions.com, there's a contact page on there. They're very welcome to send us a message, ask for a strategy session, and we also have a free report on there, which are the top 7 mistakes new business owners make, and then the solutions to those mistakes. So if they want some great information, they're welcome to get that free report as well.
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to have to download that myself, actually. Check that out. That sounds great. Well, thanks so much for being with us, Teriann. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate you having me. Thank you. And congratulations to you and Debbie for what you're doing. I think it's amazing because you're taking the expertise of the entrepreneurs and making it available to everyone and really making a difference. So thank you as well.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And we're glad to have you here, and we'll definitely have you back again.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Great. Well, thank you, Teriann, and thank you for everybody for tuning in today to Entrepreneurs Making a Difference, and we will see you in the next episode. Thanks again for tuning in.